right, but no way. I can't listen to you, I do this my own way. This is not a game, no, I don't play. And you wasn't game before, so now it's no way.
Crazies, man, y'all are in the lab. Lee here, y'all saw that title too as well. We are talking about Are You Woke? Yes, are you woke? There are many definitions of being woke or waking up into this world, and you can go down the whole list. My little definition of woke is when you elevate your vibration, your elevation, to open up your third mind to be able to see the illusions or the reality in between the illusions that have been put upon us in this game of life that we play. That's my definition of woke. But with also my definition of woke, I have 3 videos here that are going to wake you up. We're going to start with the kids, we're going to go to AI, and then we're going to go to us, society itself. And the part of the waking up experience of real woke and true wokeness is seeing what they have done to our society itself. So before we get this going, y'all remember to hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, and leave me your comments down below about what you thought about this and what you think about the whole woke community itself. So let's get back. Like I said, we're gonna start off with this lady girl, talking about schools. So listen up.
Yo,
Bella,
just watch.
My address is on file. And for the last 3 years, I have attended Gainesville Middle School. So I figured it would only be fair to pay a tribute and share all I have learned. I have learned it is okay for principals to lie over and over again with no remorse or consequences. I learned that it's perfectly fine for your teacher to publicly shame you in front of all your peers, but it is considered disrespectful to advocate for yourself in your own defense.
Ooh.
I learned you can only receive medical attention for coughing up blood if it is written down as an accommodation in an IEP and/or 504. I learned that needing accommodations makes me an inconvenience to others. I know now that because I learned differently, others take priority over me. I learned that opportunities can and have been taken away from me because I am quote-unquote not cream of the crop. I learned I am not wanted unless I benefit the school. I learned that bullying will be dismissed as just girls being girls. But as far as useful education goes, I did learn one thing, Newton's law, and it states for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. So when the people in power do the action of abusing their power for self-benefit, I am believing the people they hurt will have the reaction of removing them from power. So TikTok, November's on its way. Moving on, I would like to talk about homebound services. One teacher came to my house, gave me a packet, told me to study, then whipped out her phone and started to play Candy Crush for the next hour we had together. May I remind you that to even qualify for an hour of homebound services, I had to be absent for 3 consecutive days. By the way, the whole 3 days equals 1 hour thing was completely made up by my IEP team and is found nowhere in PWCS policy. I hope that this small glimpse of my experience with PWCS comes as a surprise to you all. Hopefully, I have tonight showed you something that you didn't already know. Hopefully, you all weren't complicit in the failure to provide a safe learning environment for everyone, including those of us with disabilities, free of judgment and discrimination. However, if we are being completely honest, we all know when parents and students share our grievances of discrimination, nothing is ever done. But it's okay, because November just got 3 minutes closer, and we need a new board that cares for all children, not just able-bodied ones.
Yes.
So please, vote for Kimberly Melman Orozco and Yesenia Laster for school board. Thank you.
And look, this is not just Florida schools. This is schools around the world in the United States. Even for myself, as growing up, I had ADHD. So they said I had ADHD and dyslexia, but I was just different. You know, like a lot of us, we are different. We know the shit and teaching the schools and stuff like that, and they categorize us in different categories in school to separate us. That's the whole thing they've done in our whole entire lives through society itself. Separate. And they don't care. They don't care. And if people in this world would wake up to the fact that our schools are just like prisons, then maybe something would change. Now, this next one is going to be about AI. AI, you know how they want to put AI into video games, into the NPCs, right? Well, listen to this.
This is why I'm still on TikTok.
So,
watch this.
I came across this game the other day just playing around on YouTube.
And it's wild. They added AI to the NPCs on this game. And listen to what this dude is telling this guy.
I wish I knew a way to get back home.
Then he proceeds to tell him that he needs to believe there's a way for him to get back home and out of there.
I need to keep believing that I'll find a way out of here and back to my family.
Needs to find a way to get back home. He's an AI in a computer program. What's he talking about home? Then he goes on to say he's from Oakwood, Canada. And the guy tells him that he's from Ontario, Canada.
Really? Where in Ontario do you live? Do you think you could help me find a way back home? Can you really get a message to my family?
What?
Please.
Think about it.
If there's any way you can help me, I'd be so grateful.
Then he goes on to tell the man, beg the man to get a message to his wife, Emily. He even remembers his name.
Yo.
I don't know about y'all. That's pretty damn wild for a video game. I mean, the fact that this thing remembers that it's from
who it is.
Oakwood,
It's
Canada. He remembers his name. He also, later in the video, states that he has 2 sons.
Watch.
I'm hesitant to say too much. But remember, I told you guys, they don't necessarily have to download your consciousness into a clone. They can download you into whatever they want. It could just be part of the game. It would be interesting to play one of these games and ask some deeper questions. Last name, more details, I don't know. But a lot of folks that took medicinal things that passed away, it depends how much they had in them.
Oh my god.
Many of their bodies are emoting a Bluetooth signal from the grave.
Now, that's crazy. And you know that game they showed there is the Real Engine, Real Engine 5, the whole kind of the Matrix thing. But that is the AI. That's the AI in the game. That is the real AI, a version of it. And with her just saying, thinking, I put that video out a few weeks ago or a couple months ago about and the graveyard, that lady that was bringing all these Bluetooths, and she was in the graveyard and she was the only one there. And it makes you wonder, they snap them, put them back into the game, the new system of the game, the simulation of reality, if you want to put it that way. It really makes you think. It really makes you wake up to the concept of, wow, this really could just be a simulation in a game, and we're just being played, or we the NPCs or whatever. It really does make you think, because it is eerie, especially the way AI and technology is now. All the evidence coming out that we are living in some kind of simulation. This isn't real base reality itself. It's crazy to even get that far. It is weird. Now, this one is about us, America itself. And I want you to pay attention and listen to this, because this is America to a T, back then and exactly now. This will wake you up if you ain't woke already.
We are not entering a recession. We are currently in the greatest depression in American history. It's random facts inside my brain where basic life skills are supposed to be, and you're not going to want to miss this. In 1933, the United States was in their worst financial and economic disaster in history. You may know this as the Great Depression. 1933 was the worst year of the Great Depression, where 25% of Americans were unemployed, and those that were able to retain their jobs had to take a pay deduction of nearly half. Those that remained employed made an average of $4,200 a year, according to the IRS. So I don't know if you've ever used the Bureau of Statistics inflation calculator, but it's this nifty little tool that nerds like me that are into true crime and history and facts like to use to see how money has changed over time. So I went on over there and I plunked that on in, and $4,200 in 1933 would be the equivalent of $95,000 today. So in this country's most perverse and destitute time, these citizens were making what would equate to $95,000 today. So what does that mean for you? Well, that means if you are not currently making six figures, you are doing worse than someone in the Great Depression. Subsequently, you would need to be making $150,000 to $200,000 a year to be on track with where the average American was prior to the start of the Great Depression. Now, I don't know about you, but I sure don't make six figures. I don't even think I know anybody that does. So we all know the Great Depression was this terrible time where people couldn't afford their houses and had to move in with their parents and downsize, consolidate, so on and so forth, similar to what's happening right now and today. So I was wondering what the cost of a house was in 1933 that the people could not afford their houses. So I did some research, and a new house in 1933 cost an average of $3,900, which was less than the $4,200 a year they were making after their wages were cut in half. The average house in America currently costs $436,800. The average middle-class American makes about $50,000. That would equate to 11% of the cost of the house with their entire yearly income. Keep in mind, many Americans are working 2 and 3 jobs to make that $50,000. So we are not in a recession. We are currently in the greatest depression in American history.
And that's facts. We are. Look at those math facts, inflation, or whatever you want to call it. Look at that. We are in the greatest recession we've ever been in America. People are starving. People are fighting. We have to work 2-3 jobs just to freaking pay the rent, keep a roof over our heads, and barely eat and enjoy. So how we've been lied to about the American dream. You go to school, you work hard, get your living, and you'll be able to have your wonderful life, but it's all wrong. They train us as kids to be slaves to the system. Work. You get older. What you gotta do? You gotta work for nothing, basically. That just shows you're working for nothing. You're working for nothing. You'll have nothing left over by the time you're dead. Nothing. Work. And then the AI. Go figure that. Make it even worse. But that is just some crazy videos. I thought y'all might enjoy that. This might give a little bit of awakening to some people out there to understand what is going on in our society right now, in these times right now. These is the times where we all have to come together as not just individuals of colors and races and genders. We have to come together as one so we can bring back the harmony and peace, not just to our lives, but to the world. So if you enjoyed this at any time, please remember to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, and leave those comments down below. Till then, y'all keep your mind open, because those eyes will see everything in front of them. Y'all stay crazy.
You gave us something we never thought we could have.
And what is that?
Another chance.
I think I heard a shot. I think I heard a shot.